You know, we use words all day, every single day. But how often do we actually stop and think about why a simple little phrase can explode into a massive fight? Well, in this explainer, we're going to unpack the surprising science of language, using some key ideas from communication in our lives. We'll show you exactly why words get us into trouble, and, more importantly, what to do about it.
All right, so let's just dive right into the heart of the problem with a situation that's probably a little too familiar for all of us.
You've been there, right? You text, "I'm fine," thinking it's a super clear, simple answer. But the person reading it, they hear, "Oh, I am absolutely not fine, and you better figure out why." It's a classic communication breakdown. And the real issue here isn't just you or them. It's that words themselves are incredibly slippery.
So get this, it's not always your fault. Seriously, the problem is kind of hardwired into language itself. But the good news is, once you understand the secret code behind how words work, you can start to master them instead of letting them master you. So what is the secret code? Well, it all boils down to three core features of any language. Three features that are pretty much the source of every misunderstanding you've ever had. First up, words are arbitrary. Think about it. There's nothing inherently dog-like about the word dog. We could have just as easily all agreed to call it a glebe or a florg. The meaning only exists because we, as a society, just agreed that this sound represents that four-legged, furry animal.
And because words are arbitrary, their meanings aren't set in stone. They shift and change all the time. I mean, sick used to just mean you were ill. Now, it means something is awesome. Apple was just a piece of fruit. What this really shows us is that the link between a word and what it means is just a temporary agreement, not some permanent universal rule.
Now this second feature, ambiguity, is a huge one. Words don't have one single perfect meaning. For instance, the word affordable means something completely different to a college student working part-time than it does to a CEO in Silicon Valley. Our own personal experiences literally color the meaning of every single word we hear.
And the third feature, and this one is a biggie, words are abstract. A word is never the thing itself. It's just a label we put on it. You can't literally hold respect in your hand. You can't point to success in a room. And here's the key takeaway. The more abstract a word is, the more room there is for a massive misunderstanding.
Okay, so now that we've cracked the code, words are arbitrary, ambiguous, and abstract, let's look at the really powerful and sometimes kind of negative ways this code actually affects our reality and our relationships every single day. Now, when I say punctuation, I'm not talking about commas and periods. Nope, we're not back in English class. In communication, punctuation is about how we mentally draw a circle around an interaction, where we decide it began and where it ended. And believe me, where you think a conflict starts completely changes how you see the whole thing. Just look at this classic cycle. One person is thinking, "I keep pursuing you for a conversation because you're always withdrawing from me." They see the withdrawal as the starting point. But the other person, they're thinking, "I only withdraw because you're always nagging me and demanding to talk." They see the pursuit as the start. They're stuck in a frustrating loop, and they're both blaming the other because they're punctuating the exact same interaction in totally different ways. Here's another idea that might just blow your mind. Words are never neutral. We might think we're just describing what's happening, but the language we choose is always evaluating it. Every single word choice carries a hidden judgment. I mean, just look at these two menu descriptions. Which one are you ordering? It's a perfect example of what we call loaded language. It's the exact same dish, but the words used create a completely different emotional reaction. One makes your mouth water, and the other, well, it makes you kind of horrified. Another thing we do with words is define people. And way too often, we oversimplify them. When we slap a single label on someone to define their entire identity, like jock or nerd or preppy, we're totalizing. We're ignoring all their complexity, reducing them to one single trait, and it is a major communication trap. Okay, I know what you might be thinking. Words are tricky, they're messy, so what are we supposed to do about it? Well, the great news is we're not helpless. There's a toolkit we can use to manage them way more effectively. And this, my friends, is the payoff. It all starts with two simple, but honestly profoundly powerful shifts. First, we have to actively try to see things from the other person's point of view. And second, we need to change our language to take ownership of our own thoughts and feelings, instead of just pointing fingers and placing blame. Okay, this is probably the most practical tool I can give you, switching your language. On the left, you've got you language, which is pure accusation. You hurt me. Notice how that immediately puts someone on the defensive, right? Now, compare that to the I language on the right. It's not an attack, it's an expression of your personal experience.
This one tiny change, it's a total game changer. You hurt me is an attack, but I feel hurt when you ignore what I say, that's an explanation of your feelings. It invites empathy and understanding instead of defensiveness. It opens the door to a real conversation instead of just slamming it shut.
So I'll leave you with this question. What's one conversation you're going to have this week that you can upgrade using these tools? Just think about it. At the end of the day, the words we choose aren't just sounds. They're the literal tools we use to build our relationships and shape our reality. Use them wisely. Thanks for watching.